Good evening. On behalf of the Southern Nevada Symphony Orchestra, welcome to our first concert of the new season. Thank you for joining us here in the Mesquite Community Theater. If you have not already, please silence your electronic devices now. Tonight, we present a musical salute to veterans and their families. In just a moment, the colors will be presented by Paul Levan and Buzz Raycop. Will be immediately followed by our national anthem. But first, please welcome music director and conductor, Dr. Selmer Spitzer. Please be seated. Those sounds of the Star-Spangled Banner evoke emotion and memories in nearly every American. From the War of 1812 to today's traditions, the work of Francis Scott Key has had a hand in molding the image of the United States of America. Thousands of renditions are played every year, but tonight's arrangement by conductor and composer Walter Damrosch is the one most often used by the President's own United States Marine Corps Band. Their mission is to perform for the President and the Commandant of the Marine Corps. Founded in 1798 by an act of Congress, the Marine Band is America's oldest continuously active professional music organization. Now, nearly 225 years later, the fact remains that patriotism is not owned or led by any particular group, belief, or set of values. Our national anthem speaks to our history and who we are as a people. Our concert on April 23rd this year was titled A Tribute to Peace, during which we took note of the fighting in Ukraine. Sadly, that war continues today. During the intervening months, we've had the opportunity to measure its effect both personally and globally. I myself am of Polish descent, a country where many, many thousands of Ukrainians have taken refuge. Maestro Spitzer's family hails from a part of Germany that was once a part of Russia, that was once a part of the Ukraine. Perhaps your own families or friends have similar connections. In 1863, Mikhailo Verbitsky, a Western Ukrainian composer and Greek Catholic priest, composed music to accompany a poem penned the previous year in Kyiv by Pavlo Chubinsky. During the 20th century, the song was the national anthem of the Ukrainian People's Republic, the Western Ukrainian People's Republic, Karpitho Ukraine, and, since the fall of the Soviet Union, it has been the anthem of today's Ukraine. At the podium is Dr. Selmer Spitzer to lead the state anthem of Ukraine. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky wrote some of the most popular concert and theatrical music in the current classical repertoire, including the well-known ballets Swan Lake and The Nutcracker. In 1880, Tchaikovsky composed The Year 1812, Solemn Overture, Opus 49, to commemorate the Russian defense against Napoleon's invading Grand Army. Following the September 1812 Battle of Borodino, Napoleon's weakened forces continued into Moscow. Expecting capitulation from Tsar Alexander, the French instead found themselves in a barren and desolate city. Now, deprived of food and supplies, Napoleon had no choice but to retreat. Beginning in October and lasting well into December, the French faced overwhelming obstacles on their long retreat: famine, typhus, freezing temperatures, harassing Cossacks, and Russian forces preventing the French from leaving the country. Abandoned by Napoleon in November, the Grand Army was reduced to 1/10 its original size by the time it reached the relative safety of Poland. Here in the United States, the 1812 overture is often associated with Independence Day. That a tradition dating back to the choice made by Arthur Fiedler for the Boston Pops concert on July 4th, 1974. Now, out of deference to our neighbors, we have left the cannons at home tonight. Nonetheless, I am confident you will enjoy the Southern Nevada Symphony Orchestra's interpretation of the 1812 overture. Johannes Christosmus Wolfgangus Theophilus Mozart was a prolific and influential composer of the classical period. Despite his short life, his rapid pace of composition resulted in more than 800 works of virtually every genre of his time. Many of these compositions are acknowledged as pinnacles of the symphonic, concertant, chamber, operatic, and choral repertoire. Mozart is widely regarded as among the greatest composers in the history of Western music, with his work admired for its melodic beauty, its formal elegance, and its richness of harmony and texture. Der Hohle Rache, in English, Hell's Revenge, is memorable by its upper register staccatos, fast pace, and menacing grandiosity. It is angry, it is vengeful, and we know it as the Queen of the Night aria, although the Queen does sing another distinguished aria earlier. O zittre nicht, mein lieber Sohn, do not tremble, my dear son. By the way, guest musicians joining us tonight from the Las Vegas Philharmonic are trumpet players Larry Ransom and Joseph Dirk, as well as Gary Cordell. Following the Queen of the Night, we shall take an intermission of 15 minutes. For the Southern Nevada Symphony Orchestra and Mesquite Community Theater, my name is Greg Dubkowski, and I welcome each of you to the second half of our program this evening. Yesterday, we celebrated Veterans Day, and tonight's concert is our salute to veterans and their families. Celebrate is the right word, because it is not a day of mourning for those killed in action or who died later from causes related to war. We observe Memorial Day in May. We celebrate Veterans Day in November. An armistice ending fighting in the war to end all wars was declared at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. 1 year later, President Wilson proclaimed the first commemoration of Armistice Day. By 1926, some 27 states had declared November 11th a state holiday, which then became a federal holiday in 1938. Given World War II and Korea, in 1954, Congress replaced the word armistice with veterans. And ever since, November 11th is the day we honor all American veterans. And so honor them we shall. May I ask all veterans here tonight to please stand now, including veterans on the stage. Now, veterans, don't sit down yet. Don't sit down yet, please. Service members have said that the support and love that they receive from family is often what keeps them going. So, if you are an immediate family member, spouse, parent, sibling, or child of a veteran, or someone on active duty now, would you please join them in standing? On the entrance road to the VA Medical Center in Boise, Idaho, there stands a sign that reads, "The price of freedom is visible here." My friends, I submit to you that the reason for our freedom is also visible here and now at Mesquite Community Theater. We thank you for your service. We thank you for your sacrifices. We have our freedoms because of you. Welcome home. At the podium, United States Army veteran Selmer Spitzer. Vasily Sergeyevich Kalinikov was a late 19th century composer. His body of work consists of 2 symphonies, several additional orchestral works, and numerous songs, all of them imbued with characteristics of folk song. Kalinikov's Symphony No. 1 in G minor was written in 1894 and 1895. It premiered in 1897 and is composed in 4 movements. The finale opens with the main theme and then revisits the first 3 movements while also incorporating new themes derived from old ones. The symphony concludes with a triumphal ending played by the full orchestra. Kalinikov's Symphony No. 1 has been referred to as wonderful and joyous, a symphony that deserves to be better known, and not merely a pleasant symphony, but secretly a great one. Listen now to the 4th movement of Symphony No. 1 in G minor and see if you agree. 25th, 1950. North Korea invades the South. Striking in overwhelming force and without warning, the North Koreans crushed the unprepared Republic of Korea. Forces from the United States and the United Nations arrived within days. On September 15th of that year, the U.S. 1st Marine Division led the first major strike in North Korean occupied territory with a surprise amphibious assault at Incheon. The first helicopter landing on Hill 812 provided relief to South Korea's 8th Division. Few had actually experienced a helicopter-borne assault from the sea. But composer Robert W. Smith's musical rendition of Incheon brilliantly captures the feel, the noise, the emotions, and maybe even the smells filling the Marine's senses as he departs the safety of the ship and heads into harm's way. So listen as we are taken from the flight deck, through the air, and then into the landing zone. Here we easily envision the adrenaline-filled troops disembarking for combat while the noisy choppers return to the ship's flight deck. Then we are left with an eerie silence, punctuated with sounds of the sea, yet fully aware that these peaceful sounds soon give way to the violence of war. Composer Smith, born in Alabama in 1958, dedicated this piece to his father, Staff Sergeant Benjamin F. Smith, a veteran of both Korea and Vietnam. Incheon pays tribute to all veterans, particularly those of Korea and Vietnam, by reminding us of those who go into harm's way so we may enjoy our daily freedoms. Gary Ransom has a few words to say about taps.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for welcoming us to your concert tonight. We thank Selmer and the great Southern Nevada Symphony for having us out tonight to perform with you. But besides the Las Vegas Philharmonic, Gary, Joe, and I have something else in common, as we are the co-founders of an organization called TAPS, the Trumpeters Alliance, to perform patriotic services. And what we do is we send live, professional quality trumpeters to play taps at military funerals at no charge to military families. It's our belief that all veterans serve honorably and professionally, and they should be honored the same way instead of a recording, which is what's used today. So as we do every day in our mission, we're going to honor those who have fallen with the performance of taps. Tonight will be a slightly unique version of taps, as my colleague Gary, from some unknown place, will echo my performance of taps from afar. Please stand if you're able for the rendering of military honors. Thank you.
Next to the Stars and Stripes Forever, John Philip Sousa's best-known march is the Washington Post. Sousa himself delighted in telling how he had heard it in so many different countries, played in so many different ways, and often credited to native composers. It was a standard at Sousa band performances, and often openly demanded by audiences, even when not scheduled for a program. The Washington Post, which incidentally does not have the word march in its title, was created in 1889 to celebrate the first awards presented by the Washington Post newspaper's Amateur Authors Association. As we've said, Veterans Day is a celebration honoring veterans and their families for their patriotism, their love of country, and their willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. In keeping with those thoughts, Southern Nevada Symphony Orchestra concludes this evening with the Washington Post.
Last time I had that with the French.